Hi, I'm Arma-Macher. I work for Bohemia Interactive, and I'm the project lead for Take on Mars. So I'd just like to show you a little bit of the gameplay, just to give you an idea of what the game is about. So here we can see the main menu. You can see Mars here in the background, and this is where the simulation starts. You can see in the bottom left here, basically the local Earth time, and from that the calculated Mars time. So if we were standing in front of Mars, this is exactly what we would see. So we have three game modes: the editor to use for creating scenarios, as well as testing whatever the game has available, like vehicles, etc. Then we have the scenarios, which are single missions, like you might land somewhere, analyze something specific, and situations like that. Excuse me. And we also have the space program, which is a science-driven campaign. So I'll start off with the two scenarios which we have for presentation purposes. So here we go. And here we're on a location called Victoria Crater. So all of our locations that we have in Take on Mars are all real locations. So if I just jump outside of the rover here and just zoom away, you'll notice the terrain here. It's all based on real satellite data. So this is Victoria Crater, which Opportunity, the rover, visited back in 2004. So I'll just get closer here. You'll notice over here a landing rover. So I'll just jump in here, and you'll notice the small rover tucked away inside this landing capsule. And like I said, we do have full simulation. So as you can see, it is bouncing around on the terrain as it would realistically. So I'm hoping it won't bounce for long. But while it does so, I will switch to the other rover. And here we are. So this rover is basically based on Opportunity, which is a rover that drove past this location in reality. And as you can see, we do simulate the suspension system over here. And it's called the rocket bogie system in real life. It's basically what NASA uses on their rovers. It was invented to overcome the issues of the lower gravity environment on Mars. Specifically, it basically divides the mass among the 6 wheels. So there's no point which is heavier than any other. So we can see in the background here the rover unwinding, and like I said, it is all physicalized. If I just grab it and tug it, you can see it is several physics objects connected by the physics engine. So if I just jump into the small rover, just turn that off, and jump inside, you can see I'm looking from inside the rover from its camera. So up the top right, you can see it updating the cameras as I drive it, and again you can see the suspension system working. So the simulation in this game is very accurate. We have this rover itself is composed of about 60 individual parts, all physicalized. So if I just jump outside and grab a wheel and break it off, you can see that it is truly made of many small parts. So I can eventually take the poor thing apart. So I'll just grab that. Whoa! There we go. So jumping back to the rover here, basically the gameplay consists of performing science analyses, exploring the area, and taking photos. So in front of me now is just an explore target, which means I have to just drive up to it and assess what to do further. So here we are. And in the background there you can see a photo target, so I'll switch into the rover's camera, turn towards it, and turn to the, using the radial menu, I'll switch to the camera mode. So there I go. I basically have to frame these points within the camera to make a successful photo. So if it's off the screen, you can see it wouldn't be a successful photo. So I'll just put it here, and photograph complete. So I'll just continue along here and take photograph of the entire area. And I'll just switch to this other hazard cams as I drive backwards out of the crater. And so you can see the wheels here are fully simulated, everything's fully simulated as close to reality as possible. So we do allow a third-person perspective. Not very hardcore, but we're not worried about that. It allows the player to do anything he wants, and it's quite interesting. Now if I just jump outside completely, we also do allow the player to go into this mode, which is a free flight camera. It does not go through objects, does not go through the terrain. and it's for making you know, either interesting screenshots or in general just viewing the terrain. So if I just zoom out here, you can see the terrain. Again, like I said, it's based on real satellite data. So this camera does have a zoom function, so players can make some interesting videos. So we do have, like I said, we do simulate everything as close to reality as possible. Well, that includes the day-night cycle. So if I just move the sun using my cheat here down to the horizon, you can see the sunset is blue. That is because the light is scattered through the atmosphere and appears blue. So if I put it completely into nighttime, you'll see that all I can see is stars, because yeah, it's dark. There's no artificial lighting, so to help the player we do have night vision to help him work with it. So if I just jump back into the rover and look around, what we also do have is lights on individual cameras. So if I just switch off night vision, you can see it's a black and white camera, and you can see it casting the shadow there. So it is dynamic lighting. So if I just switch to this camera, you can at least see the true color of the surface here. So if I put it back into day and turn off the light, give it a sec, you can see it's all orange now. So this also allows you to see Mars in its true colors. So I'd also like to show you another scenario where we can see the whole landing sequence. So Gale Crater. Now in Take on Mars we have 3 locations: Kaiser Crater, Victoria Crater and Gale Crater. These are all real locations, like I said, and all of our locations are based on real satellite data. So here we have the Gale Crater landing sequence. So this is based entirely on reality. Basically Curiosity landed in this way. It was attached to a sky crane like we have here, and it was attached through cables, and it safely descended to the ground, landed, and the sky crane cut off and flew off and smashed into the ground. So as you can see, we're landing here, and I'll just jump outside, and again you can see the location here. We've chosen locations which are visually interesting. Curiosity did land in Gale Crater, but it landed a bit northwest of here, about 50 kilometers. So our locations are 4 by 4 kilometers, so they're not entirely huge, but they're large enough for the rovers that we're simulating here. So you can see the descent stage lowering the rover to the ground, and then it will basically let go of the rover, cut the cables, fly off at an angle, and crash into the ground over there. So this is all based on what really did occur with Curiosity. So we can see the sky crane falling to the ground now. So we'll just let it smash onto the ground, and this will also demonstrate the destruction system. So like I said, it's all physically simulated. You can see the lower gravity on Mars, you can see the lower air resistance, and I'll just jump back to the rover here. So just jumping to the camera here. Again, just to reiterate the suspension system, we'll see it as you will see how it can easily overcome this dune here. So without a problem, it just drives right over the top. And again, rocks are not an issue either. So we have 3 types of science targets. We have explore targets, which are blue, photo targets, which are red, and analyze targets, which are yellow or orange, really. So right now we're heading over to an analyze target. So we'll do a bit of analysis with our ChemCam, which is the laser spectrometer. So we're getting close now. So here we are. I'll drive back a little bit. Okay, so we'll jump into inside view, or into the camera view, sorry. And we'll switch, using the radial menu again, we'll switch to the instrument mode. So in this mode we can see the individual locations which we need to analyze. We can see that we need to analyze the stone within it, and that we need to analyze it with the laser spectrometer. So we'll just switch to the laser spectrometer's camera, zoom in here, and tell it to analyze, and we'll just jump into external perspective, and we can see the laser frying the rock and doing the analysis. So it's just done its little phase there, and now it's just analyzing the results. So if I just switch back to the camera here, I'll switch to the robotic arm and I'll extend it. So I'll start like this. So again, in the top right here, we can see this camera. This camera is located on the robotic arm. So as I extend it, you can see it. See, there's the robotic arm below it. And what we'll do, we'll extend it to the rock and perform the drill analysis over here. So I'll just switch to the drill. And so using this camera, I can guide the robotic arm to the ground. You can see in the cameras up the top right how the arm is moving there. So I'll just jump into there. You can see it. So I'll probably need to move a little closer. And back to here. Whoa, it's a bit much. So there we go. And now I'll rotate the whole robotic head and use the drill to drill the surface. So once it says ready, I can do the drilling. And here we go. So you can see it drilling the surface there. So while it does that, I'll just quickly jump into the Mars system here and take a photo of that location over there. And so once the drilling is complete, I can retract my drill and store it. So I'd like to show you a bit of the space program now. So I'll jump back to the main menu and go to the space program. So I'll just restart it. Here we go. And immediately you're presented with a choice between game time and real time. Real time uses your real local time. So if it's nighttime on Victoria Crater at the current point now, there's nothing you can do about it. You can either play tomorrow or just play in nighttime. With game time, however, you can skip time up here in the top left, so I can skip any amount of hours I wish. So if we look at the background here, we can see the whole night-day curve. So if I skip about, let's say, I don't know, 9 hours, we'll see that curve change. So here you go, it's changed, and it's nighttime locally. So in the space program, you can actually customize your vehicles. You can create your own presets. So you can start off with a skeleton and add items to it. So I'll do that now. So I'll select the skeleton and give it a mast, as you can see. And then I'll give it a drill system, soil scoop system, and we'll give it some, I don't know, an antenna in the back there. And we'll give it some cameras as well. So we'll use the HazCam at the front here and the navigation camera up the top here. So as you can see, I've constructed my own little rover. I can put the parts wherever I wish, like I mentioned. So I can give it another mast cam at the back there. And using this test vehicle, I can test it in the Mars yard that the game has available. So the Mars yard is on Earth. So here you can test the vehicle, break it, whatever you want, without any consequences. You know, here you can test the vehicle whether what you've constructed is a good idea or not. So I've got a soil scoop system, so I could never ever actually bring it to the ground because on the front of the vehicle there. So I would find out that the setup I've just created is not very good for analyzing the surface of Mars. So I'll just jump into the camera view here. And here you can also see that it's Earth gravity. So you'll see it reacting differently than what we saw before on Mars. So you see it keeps to the ground much more stably due to the gravity and the lowered air resistance. And what I'd like to now show you lastly is the editor. Now the editor allows, like I said, for creating scenarios. So I'll jump into Kaiser Crater, why not? That's the third location. And so, just jumping in here, the editor allows for creating missions as well as just testing whatever the game has to offer, like I mentioned. So we can see several missions here already made. So I'll just grab one of the missions and adjust it. As you can see, I can just, using the mouse, I can just grab parts, move them around, and edit the mission parameters. So I can define the priority of the mission, whether it's enabled, how much it gives you per completion of the mission, etc. But I'll just clear that, and I'd like to show you object manipulation just really quickly. I'll just put a static object, move it around here, rotate it. You know, I can do anything I want with it. I can delete it if I want, copy, paste, Control-C, Control-V, there we go. Delete it, remove it. And I'd also like to show you vehicle spawning, just quickly. So I'll just drop it from a height. As you can see in the editor, the physics are paused. So we'll just let it drop. and as it smashes, pause it, and I can just switch off the HUD and see it, take some interesting screenshots or videos. Looks quite interesting. I can do whatever I want with it. So I'll just delete this vehicle again. And as I mentioned before, this game is heavily moddable. You can create your own vehicles, your own locations. The locations you can define what gravity they use, the air resistance, everything. So what I'll do, I'll show you something we will be releasing as part of a modding pack, which is the Rover Racer. Not very Rover-like, but at least it's just a demonstration of what's possible with the modding tools. So I'll just create another one over here with a machine gun. And like I said, you can mod the vehicles, the locations, and most importantly, the functionality. So at the moment it uses the same HUD as the Rovers, but that will change afterwards. But this machine gun is a separate script module which players can modify themselves. So if I just drive over here to this vehicle, I can also demonstrate the destruction system. Again, not very explorative, but at least it demonstrates what's possible with the game. So you can drive around with a rally car essentially, which is fully destructible. So I'll just drive it across these rocks here. Ouch! Yeah, that was a little bit harsh. And here we go. So that's basically Take on Mars. I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to drive off at full speed. We'll toss it into the air. So yeah, so this allows for full moddability. The game will be out at the end of July, basically the third quarter of this year, and it will be for €10, so which is around $15 US.